All right, here we are. So, I wanted to make a YouTube video about mistakes I made on Carnivore, and there were quite a few of them. At first, I lost a lot of weight really fast. I think it was 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks, and then it stopped. And then I started gaining weight. And I thought Carnivore stopped working, but it didn't. I was making mistakes. So I decided to start tracking my daily food intake and record whatever I ate, when I ate, how I was feeling. And yeah, it sounds well complicated, but it was really enlightening. Carnivore had me believe that all animal products were a good idea. And they are, but sadly, there are some things that I was over consuming and overeating and drinking that were really high in fat and really high in calories. And so I started gaining weight. Like I went from 230 to 248. And this was also over Christmas. So we did a lot of animal-based desserts. They were so good. But yeah, I gained a solid 18 pounds. And then when I stepped on a scale in January, I just lost my mind. It was just absolutely crazy. Anyway, my name is Dee. Thank you for being here. I am in my early 60s. I lost 40 pounds since January, between January and June of this year. I am also a type 2 diabetic, and I'm sharing my personal experience. Mistake number one. I love heavy cream. It is delicious. So I went nuts. I put heavy cream in everything I could put heavy cream in. My coffee in the morning. I made cheesecake fluff where you mix together cream cheese and heavy cream and a little bit of sweetener, non-sugar sweetener. And heavy cream is incredibly calorie dense, so it's super easy to overdo, especially because it's delicious. Hello. Mistake number two was way too much cheese. I put cheese on everything just for flavor and a little bit of salt, and I was just being an idiot. I literally just went nuts. I was snacking on cheese. I put cheese on my hamburgers. Mistake number three, this is a big one. I was under the impression that fat was unlimited. I've watched videos where people talk about eating as much as they want until they're stuffed, eat, sticks of butter. So my body definitely responded to overeating, and not in a pretty way. In hindsight, if you think about it, I ate as many calories on the carnivore diet, if not more, as I did on the standard American diet, which gave me diabetes, or which is why I developed diabetes to begin with. All the sugar and carbs and processed foods that are so easy to eat. Mistake number four, and this is also a huge one for me anyway. I'm a dog walker. I'm very physically active. I was not drinking enough. If I had a bottle of water a day, then that's a lot. I felt sluggish. So I started drinking about 2 liters of water, which is roughly a little less than a half a gallon a day. It made a huge difference in my appetite. It made a huge difference in the way I felt. I wasn't retaining any water. Coming to mistake number 5 is I was not getting enough electrolytes, salt, potassium, magnesium, etc. I felt super fatigued, just off. I felt, when you get up in the morning, you go, oh, I just don't feel right. I felt like that for weeks. And then headaches. Oh my gosh, headaches. I would wake up in the middle of the night with a headache. And the worst part of it was I was getting leg cramps. Like leg cramps where I had to scream for my daughter to help me get out of bed and work that cramp out. It was nuts. Mistake number 6, obsessing over the scale. I got to the point where I weighed myself every morning to keep track of my weight loss. Then I weighed myself after I got home from work, before I ate. And then I weighed myself before I went to bed, after I ate and drank, and got upset when the scale said another extra 3 pounds. Water weight changes your weight on the scale. I mean, you're literally holding on to water, but that doesn't mean you're gaining fat, right? Which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to lose fat. So progress isn't always reflected or measured by what the number says on the scale, because from one day to the next, your body can change. Mistake number 7, thinking carnivore had stopped working when in reality I was being an idiot. I knew better. So in the end, nothing was wrong with carnivore. Everything was wrong with the way I was eating and the way I was thinking about it. I needed to adjust my habits. So I worked on getting rid of the heavy cream and getting rid of the cheese. For me, I have to get rid of stuff. I'm not a moderator. I can't just say, oh, half a cup today and a quarter cup tomorrow. No, because if I have a pound of cheese, it's gone within 4 days. So I'm not a moderator. I know that much about myself. So once I fixed the heavy cream and the cheese, water and electrolytes, I started losing weight again. The other thing I adjusted, I started eating leaner meats. So I increased my protein. So for example, I'm now back to eating 4 hamburger patties and 6 eggs a day. When I wanted a little bit more progress, so I kept the fat calories lower, and by substituting 2 beef patties with, let's say, 8 ounces of chicken thigh. So I guess the bottom line, and the big lesson here, is that carnivore is not a magic pill. Carnivore doesn't fix everything. Carnivore makes eating simpler. It wasn't magic. I still had to learn what was working for my body. I still am learning what's working for my body. So my question to you is, which mistake surprised you the most? What slowed your progress? What did you do or not do to stay on track? Thanks for stopping by. I am Dee, and I'm in my early 60s. Aria's behind me somewhere. Take care.